Listen, everybody needs a fairy godmother, just somebody to look out for them. Some people call me their fairy smoke mother, others their internet big sister, but you can call me Hannah, the host of Smoke Sash. So come hang out, let's light up and talk everything there is to life. The good, the bad, the ugly, the embarrassing. I've got a story for it all. Hello, hotties, and welcome back to the internet's favorite smoke sesh. My name is Hannah, your host, and I am so excited to be back with you all on this beautiful little spring morning we have going on. We had a slight little cold front come through, but I overall have been loving the 70s and warm and sunshiny weather. Truly, I feel rejuvenated. I feel a renewed sense of hope. Depression, I don't know her. We are doing ultimately a little bit better, which, hey, we're on the come up, which don't we love? This past week has been pretty chill. I'm definitely in like a transitionary period of my life, which I have learned to really love the transitions a lot. That's one thing my boyfriend brings up to me a lot. He's like, you garner a lot of change in your life. Like you really enjoy change, and that's something that he admires about me. It's, first of all, it's important to have partners that you can like admire things about them. Of course, partners are supposed to help you learn and grow. And he's definitely somebody who maybe doesn't enjoy change or didn't enjoy change as much as I did, where I'm like, all right, I'm packed, I'm ready to move. Like, let's go. Let's move to a different country. Let's move here. Let me change jobs, blah, blah, blah. Like, whatever. I love change. I love the renewal. I love the energetic transformation of it all. He's not exactly the same, because I think most of the change that he has been through has been thrusted upon him and hasn't been necessarily the most positive changes. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, all the changes, all the transformations I've been through have been easy peasy, so fantastic, so amazing, so lovely. No, sometimes those changes are things that the universe are like, bitch, you're done. You're done. No more for you. You got to figure it out now. Sorry, not something you're supposed to be doing, and you don't want to stop it yourself, so let me stop it for you. But I have learned throughout the years that even if it's hard or easy, which would prefer the easy way, but sometimes the hard way is the only way, that change in that transitionary phase is just so nice, because every time you go through it, your life gets exponentially better. If you allow space in your life to change and grow and transform, and new paths, you take the calculated risk, you do the move, you change the job. If you are smart enough to continuously allow yourself to change and develop at a rate that you feel is good for you and that you feel is healthy for you, you will continuously just upgrade in life. Even those hard transitions where it's like, I don't want to change. Actually, I love being miserable here right now. It's so fun lying through my teeth. The universe, will always uproot you and put you onto a better path. Even those hard changes, you always come out ultimately on top. So I definitely feel like this is a time in my life where it's like, all right, it's time. I have been where I've been for quite some time, and I have truly enjoyed it. I love where I live. I love what I do. I theoretically could live here for the rest of my life. I could do this thing for the rest of my life. I could work in a restaurant for the rest of my life. Is it what I need or what I want? No, not particularly. Is it something I could do? Definitely. But when you're feeling that need of just like transformation and change, lean into it, okay? It will only bring blessings and abundance, and it is just such a potent time, especially during spring, to invest in that energy and to follow that intuition. So I've really been trying to connect and learn and listen to that side of myself more so than ever during this spring. Especially dealing with some stressful things or some, things that are out of my control, taking time to really focus on, well, what can I control? Where can I free up some space energetically to bring in blessings, to bring in positivity in order to kind of manage and persevere? So I know that seems very vague. In general, transformation and change is always so vague like that. ultimately, I'm just trying to find a house to move into. I love apartment living. It's fantastic. My apartment is gorgina, amazing. And ultimately, I will probably be on the house hunt for quite a bit of time because I am comfortable here. And I don't feel like I should downgrade. Like if I'm gonna move, I want to move into a house that I enjoy, with a backyard that I enjoy, with an interior that I enjoy. So taking my time to really think that through, not rush the process, and be patient, searching for those things, navigating career changes, which, hey, shout out to all of my girlies out there. Not me being like, I'm so sorry, I'm putting ads into this podcast. The amount of you guys that were like, actually, I'm switching permanently to Spotify. Like, fuck YouTube. Let me get you in your bag. Let me listen to those ads. Let me play that episode 4 times over. You guys are genuinely this fucking sweetest. I don't know why I was so nervous about that. Maybe because, like, I don't know. I don't want to get it misconstrued that this is like a cash grab, because this is genuinely like something that fulfills my soul, not something that eats away at my soul for money. Like I've been doing this for free for like 3 years basically. So I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's put some ads in. And you guys have been so supportive and so understanding, so thank you all so very much. The sold out bong collab, like, wow, the support is endless and I really appreciate you guys. There maybe will be a restock coming soon. Stay tuned. All right, it won't be as much as we released in the first round, but I want to make sure everybody who can get the fairy bong can get their hands onto it. We're reaching out to the suppliers, so stay tuned. Maybe I'll have some good news or sad news for you guys next week, but it's just been such a potent time energetically, and I'm trying to utilize that energy and kind of transmute it into more blessings and into more positivity and into more peace and calm in my life. So that has been something I have been working on. Energy transmutation. Energy is so important. Something that I've really learned throughout the years is how potent energy can be. And if you learn to utilize it in places where it does hold importance and making space for more energy, mostly positive energy, that you can kind of like crack the key to life, the code to life. I mean, if you think about it, manifestation is all about energy and utilizing the energy inside you and outside of you. Gratitude is all about positive energy. And I think you can even like negatively manifest things for you. If you get into like a negative mindset where you think, oh, only the worst can happen. Only the worst can happen. I'm a bad person. I deserve these bad things. Like, if you believe that and you put that energy out there, the universe will kind of listen to you and then give you those things. So I've really just been focusing on harnessing that energy, making space for newness, and, you know, tilling the soils of my life in order to garner some really beautiful summer foliage and energetic blessings. Wow. Okay, hippy dippy Hannah, girl, put me in some tie-dye, give me some acid, and put me in a tent in a festival. Yeah, that's the kind of energy I'm giving today. But I think it's good. I love the whimsiness of spring. I'm starting to do a little bit of gardening. I got involved with my local gardening group. I got a garden plot for the summer, and it's like all these older ladies who, it's like, I can tell that this is what they live for every single year. Like, this is their book club. This is their community event, is gardening. So I have been in this group chat with all these ladies and honestly learning a lot. I really appreciate it. They are so genuinely smart, but I'm like, wow, I need to take this shit way more seriously. Like, and the only reason that they take it this seriously is because they've had time to figure it out. So I'm not putting too much pressure on myself, but I do need to like lock in and get into my gardening bag a little bit. But that's been pretty fun. We celebrated my boyfriend's mom's birthday this weekend. There was a couple birthday celebrations, so had a little drink, had a little Mexican food, celebrated, enjoyed, had some really delicious food, honestly, all weekend. That's my favorite way to celebrate the weekend, is just to eat my way through the city. But other than that, not much to catch you guys up on. Just been, like I said, transmuting energy, bringing in blessings, trying to harness this potent and really beautiful energy of spring, and hopefully I can inspire you guys to do the same as well. We just had our Aries new moon solar eclipse. If you're a Patreon member, I did a whole write-up on it with some spells. If you also like want to stay in touch with like astrology and my life. I've been uploading my weekly The Artist's Way journey onto Patreon as well, weekly episodes. Come join patreon.com/smokeseshshotty. It's a good time over there, but we just kind of ended this 2-year cycle, or this 2-year, I like to consider them chapters, this chapter in life, where we've been kind of facing the same interpersonal, either with ourselves, with our family, with people around us, with life in general, kind of cycle of how we interact with the world and how we want to interact with the world in the future and what we are trying to bring in. And that just ended this weekend. So definitely feeling like a completion of that chapter, a completion of a certain page in my life, in my book of life. And now I'm ready to move on to the next chapter. And what's so fun about starting a new chapter is like, what does it contain? Like, we're laying the foundations. We are, slowly working our way through the paragraphs, but we don't know what the future holds quite yet, and that can feel very daunting and scary. But ultimately, your goal right now is to lay a solid base, a solid foundation for the next chapter to stand on. So if you don't know what to do right now, get the details in order, get the foundation settled. How are you feeling? How do you want to feel? And move forward from there. So I feel like this is a good time to bring this question up. Someone kind of asked about finding your purpose in life. And I know we've talked in the past about purpose. What am I supposed to do? And I feel like I usually talk about it in a sense of career, because when we do talk about purpose in a general sense, most people are talking about career. We live in a capitalist society, bro. Like, of course it's going to be about career and money. But I kind of want to escape that mindset for a second and take on like a new observation of purpose in life. I think trying to pinpoint it and trying to figure out what you're supposed to do for the rest of your life kind of negates the whole point of having a purpose, because we as human beings, transformation, you go through those things so fast, and your purpose today might not be your purpose 10 years from now. And I think that's a really important lesson to learn early on, so then you're able to tackle the issues that you're facing or the things that are, energetically serving you in the moment, utilize that fully, and then move on as growth and transformation approaches you, as it does in life. So here's some like the examples to kind of go side by side with what I'm talking about. So like my purpose in life when I was 14 was to not kill myself. Like, dead ass. It wasn't to get the grades. It wasn't to, become a honor roll student. Sure, some people at that point in life, that was their purpose in life. Most of my friends that I went to school with, I mean, I was in distinguished scholars. I was friends with all the honors students. Like, that was their purpose in life. Me, on the other hand, I had to learn very quickly that everybody's purpose in life is going to vary, and we are not all going to be on the same page at the same exact time. And as soon as you accept that and learn to understand what you need in the moment and follow through with it, the easier life gets for you. I really fought my mental illness for a long time. I'm not her. I don't want to be her. I'm not connected to her. And it really spiraled into a point where it was like, oh wow, now I'm fiending to take myself out of the game. So I need to now focus all of my time and my energy on being here and learning to live with myself, learning to handle my mental illness, to live with it side by side, and to become comfortable with it, because ultimately it is going to be a lifelong thing. Become comfortable with myself. That was my purpose in that moment. And as soon as I was locked up, it quickly became my purpose, because the only way I was going to get out was to fully focus on healing and betterment. Once I succumbed to that and I was like, you know what, fine, I'll give it my all, I got so much better. I got so much more in tune with myself, and I was able to handle the problem. That was my purpose. My purpose was, who is Hannah? How can I learn to live with her, and handling my mental illness? Now, guess what? I figured that shit out. duh. I mean, every day is kind of like a mental illness is like so fun and cute, and every day is like a little bit of a battle, but the more you get to know it, the easier it does get. And now, like thinking back in the day, I have not fought a battle that hard in quite some time. So I'm thankful for young Hannah knowing that that was her purpose and handling that issue in the moment, because then it made room for other purposes. In my early 20s, my purpose was figuring out what I didn't like. Okay. I thought, I'll just get on the same path that everybody else is on and it'll be easy for me. And, it's already laid out in front of me. Let me just go and do it. And then I realized I was miserable doing those things. And I kind of had a crash out early 20s moment that most people have, where it's like, holy shit, I'm doing nothing for me. And I need to start figuring out what I enjoy. And my purpose in life in my early 20s was, what the fuck do you not like and what do you like? Finally, the world has opened itself up to us a little bit as adults. We have all of this free time-ish and just like access to the world around us that we didn't have as children. So allowing myself to try out different things, to fumble a little bit, to make mistakes, that was my purpose in life. And that was an awkward phase, I will say. But once I committed to it and allowed myself to explore and develop myself socially, physically, career-wise, I was then able to close that chapter pretty quickly, move on to my next purpose. 23 to 25 has been working online. It's been, yes, career focused a little bit more than it usually is, but once again, purpose can be career. It doesn't mean it's everything. And it doesn't also have to be long-term goals. My purpose right now here in this moment is making sure my cat is healthy. And you're like, oh, that's so simple. That's so like nothing. Oh, your purpose in life is making sure your cat is healthy. Yes, it is. Because everything else, we're going good. I'm feeling stable in every other aspect of my life. My purpose in life right now is making sure that he is taken care of, that I am figuring out that issue, that I no more health scares for him, that he is feeling happy and healthy. And sure, maybe that's a short-term purpose, but that doesn't negate the purpose at all. We think so much of these big ideas, these long-term goals. And I think your purpose in life can be those things, but sometimes also it has us overlook the importance of the little things in our life. The little things can hold just as much weight and power as those big purposes can. And as soon as you realize intuitively how to follow, like truly what your heart is kind of like pulling towards, and you allow yourself to actually problem solve those things out and put your full attention on those things and give your all 100% to that purpose that is truly calling to you, life starts to make more sense. It does. Absolutely. And I have a million more purposes to go through before I die. I don't think you can sit here and be like, oh yes, my one purpose is this one thing. Boom, pinpointed. I'm going to go and do that. Because yes, I'm glad you have an idea and I'm glad you have a sense of purpose in what you want to do, but you will eventually go and achieve that thing. And once you achieve that thing, if this is all you've been living towards, you are going to feel a little bit empty at the end of the day once you achieve that thing, because it's like, well, now what? I've lived my whole life for this one big, amazing, grand thing and I achieved it, but now what? Now I've done it. Now there is no purpose. I feel like it causes a lot of spirals in a lot of people. Your purpose will constantly evolve and change with the era, with the chapter, with the moment that you are in. And the sooner you learn to accept that, to look for it, to go after it 100%, no matter how big or small, the easier life is and the more seamless it seems to flow together. I spent a lot of my time chasing like the big idea, the big thing. What am I going to do career-wise? When in reality, my purpose has always been there. I just maybe didn't realize how important it was. Yes, taking care of my cat is my purpose right now. That thing is important. It's important to me. It's important to him. It's important to my mental health. In the past, making mistakes. Oh, that's your purpose? Yes, because I didn't know what I wanted to do and I had to try on different hats and try out different jobs and try out different things in order to kind of find a direction. Before that, my depression. Oh, that was your purpose? Yes, because I had to get that shit figured out or else I wasn't going to be able to function as a human being, girl. I wasn't going to be here, period. It's going to change. It's going to flow. You know what your purpose is because it's the one thing that intuitively you can't get out of your fucking head. It's the one thing where you're in the shower, you're trying to meditate, you are in yoga class, and bitch, it's still there. It's eating away at your brain. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Can't get rid of me that easily. That's the thing you're meant to handle. That's the thing you're meant to understand, to dive in fully. And if you commit to those things, you will achieve that purpose. You will get it handled faster than you ever could have imagined. But also, don't base your life on one big purpose because there's so many of them to achieve. I think, and also like in a more mentally sane sense, of an example of life purpose and allowing yourself to flow purpose to purpose and not just having one big goal that you've been living towards and kind of ignoring all of the other small successes that you have achieved as well. My brother's kind of done this, definitely more mentally sane, but it's like, all right, graduate high school in honors, bam, purpose achieved. Get into dream college, bam, purpose achieved. Meet amazing woman, bam, purpose achieved. Go to law school, complete law school, bam, purpose achieved. Marry this amazing woman that he loves fully, bam, purpose achieved. Get a job that truly fulfills his heart and his soul, bam, purpose achieved. Have children, bam, purpose achieved. It keeps going and going and going and going. That's the flow of life. And I don't want you to ignore the small things. I don't want you to, ignore those small successes and those small achievements just because you have this like one big goal. Your purpose will flow and change as long as you dedicate yourself to it 1,000%. You dedicate yourself to yourself 1,000%. You will achieve those big goals, those big dreams. But don't give up after that. There's always more to discover. There's more growth to have. There's more transitions to have. There's more out there, always. I just feel like this whole purpose of life kind of conversation can feel so daunting and can feel so big picture-esque that it's like, well, I just don't have one. I'm just going to work in a restaurant all my life. It's like, cool, but if that's what you want to do, no one's shaming you. If your purpose right now is to like, oh, I want to go from server to bartender, amazing, fantastic. That is a purpose. That is, your intuitive desire. Follow that. Don't demean it in any sort of way. And don't compare yourself to anybody else but your past self. I don't know. It's something that I've really been kind of thinking about a lot because my parents always place so much stress. Like, what's next? What's next? What are you doing with your life? Blah, 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 blah. And I hate to be like, well, what's important to me right now is like figuring out this weird health issue my cat's going through because you say that and my parents look at me like I'm crazy, like, okay, cool, that's fantastic, but there's nothing else you want to do. It's like, no, that is what I need to commit myself to 1,000% right now. Like, that is what's causing me the most stress. So that's the one thing I do need to figure out. And I don't want anybody looking at me and saying that shit's not important because I know in my heart that that is important to me. And that is all that fucking matters. And you know what? After I figure this shit out, maybe my purpose in life is like going and starting my own TV show. Who knows? Maybe it's a big, fantastic, amazing purpose after this. That's for future Hannah to figure out. Right now, I know what it is. I need to sit down, handle it, work through it, and trust the universe will sit by my side throughout the entire thing. So don't stress yourself out, okay? You know what you need right now. You know what you are intuitively called to. Listen to it. Don't let anybody else get in your head and say your dreams, your desires are not important, or they're too small, or they're not meaningful. They are. If they mean something to you, that is literally all that fucking matters. But that is my ramble to start us all off. I hope you enjoyed. I don't know. It's just something I've definitely been having on my mind a bit recently because, it is like, I don't know. My poor little kitty cat has been going through the same thing over and over and over. And my vet now is kind of like, we don't really know what to do. I don't know. And so now I'm having to switch to a different vet. And yes, it's frustrating. And yes, I feel bad I can't take away all of his pain. But also, all I can do right now is do the best that I can for him to make sure he's getting the best treatment, the best help. I'm like going and seeing a specialist. I don't give a fuck how much it costs me. Like, we're getting this shit figured out now. That's my purpose. Anyways, yeah, danger update. He did the sedation of flushing and it seemed to have worked, but it's not really. So I found this amazing cat specialist in Kansas City who is so incredibly sweet. And they're like, you know what? We are not taking new clients for the next 9 months, but we'll make an exception for you. So we go in next week and hopefully they will kind of, know a little bit more what's going on or be able to perform treatments a little more thoroughly, because my vet currently love endlessly. He's so incredibly sweet and patient. He literally was like, we have like vet forums and chat rooms for only people who are obviously vets, so we can compare and contrast different cases or see if anybody else has been through this, which first of all, appreciate. Like, wow, didn't know that network existed. How do I get access to that? And he's like, I've been asking around with different vets across the United States if they've had cats go through this. And he's like, people really have not. I'm like, oh, great. Oh, great. Thank you. Oh, perfect. He's like, as long as it's not bothering him, I think it's okay. I'm like, well, yeah, but it is bothering him. So all I can really focus on is the next step in front of me and making sure he is happy and healthy in the meantime. That's my purpose. And I kind of love it. How lucky am I to be able to love a little animal so much and be in a position where I don't have to stress about finances. Like, take him in, get him handled, get him checked out. Let's do the surgery. Let's do whatever. Whatever helps him in the long run, I'm here for it. Someone said, oh no, my cat broke the wing off my new fairy bong. How do I process these emotions? I am so genuinely sorry. I feel like I'm looking at my bong right now and I'm looking at the seam. I genuinely think you could probably glue it back on with a good like adhesive Gorilla Glue and you would be good to go. And then just don't pick her up by the wings. These bongs are like very, very solid, but like definitely if it gets knocked off a table, there's some risk there always. But like looking at the seam, I think if it was like a clean break, I mean, obviously clean your piece out and make sure there's no glass in it. But like, I think you could definitely just like glue that bitch back on. I've definitely done that with like old pieces, not these, but I remember I bought my first ever like really nice like bong and it was like $250. Girl, why the fuck was I spending that? Anyways, and I remember the mouthpiece broke off. It was like really thin and long and the mouthpiece broke off. Girl, I just glued that shit right back on and kept it pushing. Cannabis drinks. I've never tried and curious about your thoughts. I honestly love a cannabis drink. If you follow my Instagram at Hannah Marlene, I've worked with a few different cannabis drink companies to do some recipes and also just to like try out. The two main ones being Wink, WYNK, who make infused seltzers. And I think they're coming out with a new flavor, which I'm very excited about for summer. I think they're like 3 different lemonade flavors. Ooh. If you like a LaCroix, that's basically what they taste like. And they hit harder than an edible because I feel like when an edible is solid, it takes a little bit longer for your body to digest it. And that's why you have that 30-minute to an hour onset. Whereas with cannabis drinks or infused drinks, since they're a liquid, they go into your bloodstream so much faster. A little bit longer than smoking it, of course. But I would say within 10-15 minutes, you start to feel a little bit of a buzz. And I honestly really enjoy them, especially in a social setting where maybe I'm not trying to drink or I just want to like hang out on my front porch at 2 p.m. and have a little fun beverage. Like I don't need to be drinking at 2 p.m. sometimes. Maybe I'll just have like a little infused bevy. So I do enjoy the Wink seltzers. And then also there's a brand called Nowadays that makes almost like a what you would consider a liquor, but it's infused instead. So you would buy it the same way you would buy Tito's and use it as a mixer. And then with that, you can kind of, add more if you want more of a dosage, add less if you want less of a dosage, and mix it in with fun different drinks. Both have had the same effects, although they're different companies. Both have had the same exact effects on me, where it's like pretty quick onset. They don't hit as hard as edibles. Sometimes the edible scaries really get you because it's like, all right, time's ticking. When am I going to feel this? And then you're like, whoa, I feel everything all at once. I feel like with the bevies, it's not so much like that where it's so intense, as long as you really get the dosage right. I mean, you drink 8 of those seltzers, I'm sure you'll be feeling a little crazy, but you have one little 5 milligram bevy. Love, great, fantastic, and a great alternative to drinking as well, especially if you want to be a social drinker. You're going over to your friend's house, you know that they're going to pregame a little bit, and you're maybe sober off alcohol. Get you a little THC bevy, taste good, feel good. Overall, 10 out of 10. And I love new products. I love a new cannabis product because it's so interesting to see what people are doing with it. Like, people get so inventive. But yeah, there's a lot on the market now. The two that I really enjoy are the Wink and the Nowadays. If you are curious, highly recommend. Speaking of, someone asked go-to spring drink. Okay, finally on my matcha bullshit again. And you guys, the OG girlies, know I loved a swamp drink. Do you know what a swamp drink is? It's essentially a matcha latte, and then you add a swamp water. Swamp drink, girl, you don't even know your own lingo. Swamp water. It's a matcha latte, preferably oat milk, a little bit of simple syrup or honey, and then you add espresso into it too, because trust, a girl needs a little extra pick me up. And it looks disgusting like swamp water, thus the name. That was my go-to for a long time, but now I have discovered the most amazing, wonderful drink known to man. Essentially, it's a matcha spritz, or a sparkling matcha. You take sparkling water and then matcha. And then if you want a sweetener, you can do any sort of homemade jam, any homemade syrup. The spot up the street for me does a citrus yuzu syrup. It is so fucking good. I'm actually thinking about going and getting another one today. I have had one every day for the past 3 days. It's amazing. It's amazing. You can do this at home though, and I definitely will be doing it. You can make any sort of jam out of just like a little bit of sugar, whatever fruit you want, and then you boil it down to a thick consistency, add a little bit of water, blend it up so it's emulsified, mix it in with whatever you want. Fantastic. But a matcha spritz, any sort of sparkling matcha with any sort of syrup, has been a game changer this spring season. Help with body neutrality as we enter the summer season. Ooh, very real. Very real. I've talked a lot about body neutrality, but I think the spring summer season is always a great time to bring up the topic and maybe give some tips and relieve some stress that you might be feeling, especially as we grow and our bodies change and you go through your second puberty and you are more womanly figured, and we are now even more so being fed this need to be skinny, which is like very scary. We're living in dark times. Trust, you do not need to fall down the pro Anna timeline. It will not do any benefit for you at all. I've always had a complicated relationship with my body. Now I think I am very blessed with the genetics that I do have. And I am very thankful that like my dad was stick skinny and then my mom was curvy. Like, I am obviously the love child of both of them. And I do think I fit into a lot of the stereotypes or the aesthetics that society does place an emphasis on. So I haven't had as much trouble as maybe other people have had with feeling comfortable in their body from a societal pressure way. But I have felt the general sense of pressure that I think every woman has felt, where you just never feel good enough. The trends change so quickly overnight. The celebrities who, make the trends can afford all of the surgeries to physically change overnight, and it is so exhausting and impossible to keep up with. And ultimately, I think the best thing I did for myself was just allowing me to be me, and to not consume so much content on other women's bodies. A lot of the time when I was overthinking myself, it was because I was overthinking other people's bodies. You know, when I was younger and I was going through my mental health issues, yes, I was on the pro Anna side of Tumblr, and, you know, overwhelmingly being bombarded with these negative thought processes and these comparisons. Like, of course, that translated to a negative relationship with my body. And of course, it made the stress even more, and you know, the pressure even more. So once I kind of removed that from my life and stopped engaging with content that was so comparison, contrasting, so pressurized with aesthetics, you know, I stopped knowing what the trend was. So I stopped feeling the pressure. I understand if you're online in general, you're going to see that, but I do think reducing your consumption hours of being on your phone and content, especially negative content, does translate to a better relationship with your body 1,000%. If all you are seeing is videos of people talking about how I'm not skinny enough, or I don't look good enough, or blah blah blah, this is how much I eat in a day, that's all you're going to be thinking about. The content you consume does translate to the way your brain thinks in everyday life. So being smart about the content you consume and knowing, like, okay, I got to put the fucking phone down, or I'm going on a path that's not good for me, or wow, that video is really triggering, let me go ahead and block that person. I think that's really healthy. I think that people have not understood how to set boundaries online, and I don't want you to be afraid to be like, I don't want to consume that content, I'm going to block that person. Do you know what I mean? Or wow, that was really negative and that just put some really bad thoughts in my brain, I don't need to engage with this content anymore. Now there is like this kind of self-harm aspect of it all, where it's like, I know this is bad for me, so I'm going to keep consuming it and consuming it and consuming it. Please, for the love of God, don't feed into that like brain worm side of yourself that just wants to eat negative feelings. Like, you do have power over what you consume, so please stand strong in those boundaries and don't fall down those rabbit holes, because it will make just in general real life way, way, way harder. So boom, A, make sure you are consuming content that is good for your brain. And if you're on the phone too damn much, girl, get off the phone. B, I don't think we were meant to perceive our bodies as much as we are in this very moment. I've said it before, but I'll say it again. Like, we were only meant to see our face in a clear river stream. Like, we were never meant to see the reflection of ourselves, or to kind of like know our bodies or see our bodies, or just like observe our bodies this much. And it is overwhelming. Like, if you're only thinking about your body 24/7, that is very, very overwhelming, and I think it's a very unnatural way to live. Absolutely. Like, if you need to put the mirror away, put the mirror away. I think it's very healthy. I went through this period of time where I was kind of like falling into this eating disorder behavior, and I think a lot of it stemmed from just like too much observation of who I was, and a lot of that triggered body dysmorphia, where I was seeing something in the mirror that simply wasn't real, and that was because I was just like over consuming the visual aspect of my body. And so what I did in that moment is I put all the mirrors away. Okay, the body mirrors, put them away, done. Now, of course, like, I gotta go to work, I gotta do my makeup, I gotta, you know, do my skincare routine, whatever. I would not allow myself to stand less than 2 feet away from my mirror. Ideally 3 feet, where you have that nice little blur going on, but I'm not able to count every single pore on my fucking face. Like, I was only able to really observe my face, do what I need to do, get out of there. And it took a long time for me to, I was in the depths, so it took like a month or two of me to finally get used to this routine. But after that time, like, and allowing my brain to go through the processes of withdrawal in that sort of sense, I stopped thinking about it. You know, I wasn't looking at my body as much, so I stopped thinking about it as much. Boundaries, these things are very important. If you find yourself going down this like negative thought spiral, you have to understand where it's stemming from and put that blockage in place. Not allow yourself to keep going on these like harmful spirals that are ultimately setting you back completely. So if you need to put the mirror away, the observation away, do so. Also, like, When's the last time you allowed yourself to just like sit in your body? I know that's a crazy question, but when's the last time you allowed yourself to feel your body, to connect with your body? Okay? That can be really terrifying and scary if you haven't done it in a long time. You can do this in a form of like meditation and breath work. I'm not talking like stop thinking, but just focus on breathing in and out, breath work, maybe a little yoga where you're just allowing yourself to like do downward dog and child's pose. Very simple little 5-minute flow, but simply allowing yourself to move your body and feel your body, allowing yourself to be naked and not covered up. I know that's weird, but I'm very much so the naked neighbor. I'm so sorry. But like allowing myself to exist in my body without any sort of covering or shame there, and the jump scare of it all where it's like, wow, I haven't done this in a long time and I'm feeling very disconnected, but the more you do it, the more connected you feel in a healthy manner where it's like, I'm just existing, you know? I'm not this, I'm not that, I'm not this trend, I'm not this aesthetic. I am just me, Hannah, here now. And I think that is a very important place to get to with your body. And these things can be very scary, but I think if you allow yourself to, you know, put those blockages in place where you're not allowing those negative thought processes and then do the hard work of just like existing, the better your relationship will be. Now, we talked about spring clothing trends in the last episode, and I think it's important to allow yourself to wear whatever you feel comfortable in, period. That's literally all that matters. If you want to wear a long, flowy dress that doesn't even touch your body, fantastic, amazing, as long as you feel comfortable in it. But like, if you're trying to wear those shorts from 7th grade that don't fit, and you're feeling bad about yourself trying to squeeze into the shorts from 7th grade, it's like, yes, because you're not a preteen anymore. You're not supposed to fit into those jeans. That's how it's supposed to be. Change that wardrobe, get clothes that fit you, get clothes that you enjoy wearing. It'll take off that societal pressure of your body. Now, bikini season is coming up. Best thing to do, get a bikini that you feel comfortable in and that you feel hot and sexy in. Period. Sydney Mary Bikini really kind of taught this to me. She is a small business owner who makes handmade one-of-a-kind bikinis. If you need a good bikini from a small business, highly recommend Sydney Mary Bikini on Instagram. But I bought my first bikini, like real bikini from her, and it is so gorgeous and amazing and hot and sexy. And that's the first time I ever put on a swimsuit, and I was like, wow, like one of a kind on this puss, one of a kind on these tits, bitch, like try me. And it fit perfectly. I felt like it flattered my body well. I felt like it was cute in general. So when I went to the beach, when I went to the ocean, when I went to the river, when I was hanging out in the park in my bikini top, it wasn't how does my body look? It was, wow, this bikini is really cute and I wear it well. I also think here in America, we kind of face some of these issues that other countries just don't face or don't put any emphasis on. And there's a lot of like, at least here, what I've noticed, there's a lot of like comparison when it comes to women's bodies. And I think that's just because there's been a lot of competition between women placed here and also like shame. Whereas you look at these European countries where women are allowed to go topless to the beach, and there are women of all different shapes, sizes who are there simply enjoying and being. And I think about that a lot, where it's like, that's how it should be. Like, women should be allowed to feel comfortable in their bodies, period. Women should be allowed to feel their bodies, period, no matter the shape or size or aesthetic of it all, societal pressure. We should just be allowed to be and exist and enjoy. And once you allow yourself to do that as a woman, you'll realize nothing else is more important than that. It's a hard journey, but it's a worthwhile journey. And especially as we are growing into women and our bodies are changing, the less pressure you put on yourself to be this certain thing, and the more pressure you put on yourself to just be, the easier time you'll have. There's no reason you should spend a majority of your time in your day thinking about your body. Girl, there are bigger things going on that we gotta deal with. And you deserve that space in your head to think about those important things. It's a hard journey, but it's a worthwhile one. I don't sit on here and preach the body positivity a whole lot because, I mean, like, duh, every single woman is amazing and hot and beautiful and sexy, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't think that. Like, abso-fucking-lutely. But I don't think, like, especially coming from a place where maybe you have a tumultuous relationship with your body, I don't think the whole body positivity movement it just doesn't have like the longevity, because you can sit here and you'll be like, yes, my body's beautiful. But then, like, you know, the negative thoughts might fall on you. And then it's hard to stay in that positivity mindset. I think the longevity really exists in the neutrality aspect, where it's like, this is my vessel, period. Okay? That is all that matters. Of course, the positivity can help flip a negative mindset, where like gratuity is really important, where it's like giving thanks for your body, appreciating who you are, having that positive outlook, of course, does help. I'm not going to sit here and be like, positivity doesn't help. Duh. Yes, it does. But I do think you should just feel comfortable being who you are and existing in who you are no matter what. I think that's where that longevity really exists. Whenever I need a dose of like, wow, we really are just human vessels, I love going to the art museum. I love going to the art museum. You need a dose of like womanliness and appreciation of the art of the human form. Go to the art museum. Please, please do not go to Instagram. Do not go to TikTok. Go to the art museum, escape the pressures of now, and really go look at what real fucking humans look like, what the appreciation of real humans look like. Go look at the fertility goddesses and deities. Go look at the Aphrodite paintings. Go look at these beautiful pieces of art. It really, really will help that mindset of like, need to fit in, and more so transform it into appreciation of who you are now. And that's what matters, you know? Someone asked, do you participate in protests? Feeling scared? Yes, my mom is a big protest girly. Like, she is very much so out on those streets 24/7. I had to she was just protesting at the state capitol for the school board, and I had to make this like 20-foot banner for them to throw over the Capitol steps. She's like, can you please come over and paint this? I'm like, yeah, girl, I got you. Let me do my part, because I couldn't show up. I was busy, but like, I'll make you a giant banner. Sure. Fantastic. But I grew up going to a lot of protests with her, specifically involving like school funding and protesting the government for obviously never, ever, ever giving enough money that the public schools need. So she's always been out and about with the teachers, or any sort of like women's march. I usually always go to and have gone to since I was young. And I think with a sense of community, I mean, yes, now, like with the state of the world, very scary. Duh, especially when protesters are getting snatched off the streets. And I think it is always, always important to protect yourself no matter what. Make sure that you are protecting the people around you. Don't put anybody's faces on social media at all. Like, please. I think we have gotten way too comfortable filming and recording people in public and posting it online without their consent. And especially at protests, if you want to make sure that everybody around you is safe, and safety, most importantly, is anonymity, do not post their faces unless obviously they want that. And how are you going to know that other than if you talk to them? But I do feel a sense of safety when I am at these protests, because it is like community. And when you're surrounded by like-minded people who are there for the same purpose and who are as passionate as you, you know that they are there to stand side by side with you and protect you. So I don't feel necessarily like super unsafe to the point where I'm like, I'm not going, because I do think if you feel the need to protest and show up, I don't think you should let fear stand in the way. Obviously, mask up, duh. Show up for the people around you, protect their anonymity. But like, yeah, a totalitarian government is going to want you to be afraid to do these things. And then, more so than ever, is when it's important. Wow, I truly pulled the term totalitarian out of the back of my skull, from the depths of my memory, and somehow used it correctly. I actually had to Google it. But yeah, there's actually a big nationwide protest going on next week. I believe next Saturday, April 5th, where there's going to be protests. And if you are interested, there's going to be protests at pretty much every state capital. So if I have the day off, I probably will be attending. But if you are interested to get involved, look at local community organizations, community organizers. Simply just show up, and I guarantee, there will be people there and there will be a community-based group there. But yeah, I've gone to a lot of protests, most of them having to do with my amazing state capital of Topeka, Kansas. We have done a lot of protesting against also the Westboro Baptist Church, which, if you don't know, exists in Topeka, Kansas. I also have just faced a lot of protesting from the opposite side, mostly the Westboro Baptist Church. They protested everything. My school graduation, they protested. They would just randomly show up to my high school and protest with signs because we had LGBTQ students and supported them. How dare we? They would always protest funerals of service members and of soldiers, which is really fucked up. So when I saw them doing it and doing it for like the wrong reasons, I'm like, girl, fuck you. The least I can do, like, if you're gonna be stupid and go out and do it for the wrong reasons, like protesting Planned Parenthood, like, I will show up and do the opposite, But yeah, if you're feeling that energy and you want to get involved, do it. We need people, we need support, and I think it's good when you have that energy to do something with it instead of just sitting still and standing by and feeling like you are out of control and that you don't have you can't make a change. You don't have a voice. You do have a voice. Oh my gosh. Someone asked, how do I become an influencer? I don't know. Do you really want the tea? Do you really want to become an influencer? I walk through Target, and sometimes I'll go through Target, not really so much anymore, but back in the day when I would go and I would like get my niece and my nephew Christmas gifts, or I would go to Target to get them like birthday gifts. What really, really fucking spooked me is next to the alphabet blocks and the wooden toys and the brain games and puzzles, there were wooden influencer kits, including a fake wooden ring light, a fake wooden camera and tripod. Now, that's fucking scary. That is spooky and scary. And never, ever, ever, ever do I think a child should ever have that in their hands. Like, what? I don't think we should be like grooming children to become influencers. I think that is extremely problematic and weird and uncomfortable in every sort of the sense. But I understand how people nowadays who are like my age, who are 20s, see the rise of the influencers. And I think we really saw like how much power and money that these influencers are making over COVID, because companies learned that, oh, why would I pay $2 billion fucking dollars on a ad on TV when I can pay this influencer 1% of that and get 10 times the amount of reception? So we saw companies putting a lot of investments in these influencers over COVID, and they made a lot of money very quickly. And it's hard to not look at that lifestyle where it's like, oh, well, I can post a bracelet and promote it and make $300,000. Like, what the fuck? Of course you want to do that. Of course you want to become an influencer. Of course. Duh. You'd be stupid to say like, oh, I don't want to have an easy job and make a lot of money. Like, you see that and it's like, yeah, I want to become an influencer. And I get you, girl. If only the companies still had that money. They don't have that money. I'm going to break it to you the hard way. The money the influencers were making, and I missed this, so I have no numbers for you, I'll tell you that. I'm not making any sort of even remotely close to any sort of money that some of these influencers are making. But like during COVID, I feel like there was a lot of money to invest in influencers, and then companies realized, oh wow, we can truly pay them anything. And so now they're not investing as much in influencers monetarily. And if they are, the margins are very, very low. So I think this like rise and boom of the influencers made it seem so luxurious and amazing. I don't think that exists anymore. I think if you were to get into the influencer world now, I don't think you would have the same monetary success that like existed in that point in time. Am I against people becoming influencers? No, because I also think the whole influencer world has truly allowed specifically like women to be business owners and to make their own money and to not have to like work for a company and truly work for themselves in a way that we have never seen before. And I think that is really beautiful and amazing. But also, I think you should understand that becoming like one of these big, famous, amazing $1 million influencers is rare. And it's not going to happen to me. So do I think it's going to happen to you? Probably not. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but like you got to get real, you know? And if I were to give you any sort of advice, if you want to become an influencer, the whole point of the job is to post. I know. You're like, what? I have to actually put myself online and bare my soul to everybody? Absolutely. That is the whole point of the job. The influencers that you see nowadays, the ones that pop off, are the ones who it's like you can't escape. And the reason you can't escape them is because they're posting 50 fucking times a day. They're posting over and over and over and over and over again. They don't care if it doesn't get any traction. They don't care what people think about them. There is this sense of like you have to truly bare yourself to the world and get over that fear in order to kind of garner that facial recognition and then garner a following. And I don't think a lot of people have that in them. And if you want to stay anonymous and you just want to consume content, I don't fucking blame you. There's a lot of stress behind being a public figure and having your life out there. And if that's not something you want to do, if you're not chalked up for the influencer life, that is okay. That is okay. We honestly do not need any more influencers. We don't. I think a lot of people who want to become influencers truly, like, I think it's becoming like the Mary Kay of our generation, where it's like, I am making money based off sales. You essentially are a Mary Kay associate going house to house or phone to phone in the influencer world, and you're selling product, but you're making only a portion of it. I think that's what we see most influencers do nowadays. And is there a lot of money in it? No. Is there stability in it? No. Is there support in it really? Not really so. Can you even have a 401k? No. I see all of my friends who work for companies who have matching 401ks, like stock investment, taxes are taken out already. They don't have to think about it. And I get very jealous. I get very jealous of that because wow, that is a lot of money that is being thrown at them, a lot of stability. Oh my God, you have insurance that you don't have to pay for yourself. Wow. Like I know it's coming out of your paycheck or whatever, but it is extremely cheaper to have your company pay for your insurance and have it come out of your paycheck than you finding your own insurance and paying for it every single month. My insurance is $350 as the independent contractor. And my friend's insurance every month with the same benefits, actually they probably get better benefits. It's like $150. There's a lot of pros and cons to it, but I think people see the flashy lifestyle, the luxuriousness of it all, of these select few influencers, and they're like, I want to do that. I can become that. I don't think it is as good as they're putting it on to be. Obviously, their job is to make it look really fucking awesome and really fucking nice and like they're living the best life. That is their job, babe. Of course it looks that way. Do I think it is that way behind the scenes? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But yes, if you want to become an influencer and that is your life stream, that is your purpose, who am I here to sit here and shit on that dream? If you want to do it, all you got to do is post. There's probably a 10% chance that when you are posting constantly, it gets picked up, it gets traction. You then become influencer famous. It is a gamble. It is the same as sitting at a slot machine and putting in money and hoping it pays off. I do think it is very random what the algorithm chooses to pick up and what it doesn't. I think it's very random what, people who are consuming content choose to pick up and who doesn't. It's a major risk. Absolutely. And being in this line of work, I have to know that, and I have to take precaution knowing that, like, I love doing this podcast, but absolutely, I I know the world can fall out from underneath me and I may not be able to do this for the rest of my life. And I'm not going to put all of my eggs in one basket. I'm going to do this because it fulfills my soul and I'm going to have a good time doing this. And yeah, I will work the boring job on the side to actually pay rent and all those fun things. I think that's what most influencers are doing that you're seeing, especially the ones who are like not brand safe. If I were to start all over and you want to become a successful influencer, and this is like a 1% chance of this actually working, this is what I would do. I would post a bajillion times a day, every single platform. I'm talking TikTok, Instagram, Reels, girl, I don't give a fuck. Post a bajillion times a day. It's scary, yes, but ultimately that is what you got to do. Post as much as you can, as often as you can. Most importantly, if you want to make money, you got to be brand safe. These brands got to understand that you are not a risk, that you are, not necessarily even a human being, that you can just plaster their brand on your face and it translates well and people will buy it. That's truly all they care about. They do not care about you as a human being. They just want to know, especially like most of these big brands, they just want to know that you're going to sell things. So I would stay brand friendly if you can, which means kind of putting aside your humanism a little bit and your personality a little bit. And the chances of like that getting picked up, like I said, pretty low. But if you get there and you can make those connections and, you are brand safe, I do think there's money in it. But I don't think, like I said, there's as much money as we are used to seeing, especially during the COVID days where it's like flown out for a brand sponsorship. I'm making a bajillion dollars for a sponsorship. I just don't think that exists anymore. And I think we are kind of going to see a crash of it all, where we saw the crash in the Mary Kay, where people kind of realized, great brand, but also there's other things out there. I don't think it is a job field that I would recommend to everybody. But if it is something that you are passionate about, I would say if you want to make money, you got to fake it. You got to not be yourself and you got to, brand safe, like I said. But I do think there is a very beautiful side of it where you can become a creator. I think that's very different. If you want to become a creator online, an influencer is very different than a creator. Influencers, brand safe, all about the money, don't give a fuck. They're putting their best foot forward. They are faking it till they make it. Absolutely. They're just pushing content. They don't care what it is. As long as it is engaging and it is out there, their job's done. Now, I do think being a creator is very fulfilling. I think, is there any money in it? Absolutely fucking not. But if you are a passionate individual who wants to make things, especially online things, or you make products, you're an artist, I think being a creator can be very fulfilling. I have such a fun fucking time doing this. And if you want to start a silly little podcast with your friends just for funsies, you don't care how many views you get, do it. There's nothing stopping you. If it fulfills your soul, then abso-fucking-lutely. If you have a small business that you are trying to promote and you're a little afraid to post, lean into that authenticity and that creative side and just share with the world what you're doing. I think there's something so beautiful and amazing in that. And truly, I have found some really amazing creators simply through them bearing their soul and their process and wanting to share that with the world. And I think that is so cool. And ultimately, those are the people that I connect with more than anybody else. I don't really follow any influencers for that reason. I can see the fakeness. I'm sure you can as well. I do follow a lot of creators, and the method to the madness of influencers versus creators is very different. Influencers, very fake, very much so pushing a product, very much so holding themselves and their soul back in order to be brand friendly, in order to make money. It's a very lifeless process. There's money in it, sure, but it's rare that you're going to hit those levels of achievement where you're making millions. Now, if you want to become a creator and you just want to share your life online and you want to live authentically and you want to create amazing things and get artistic with it, I think that is so beautiful, and I think you should absolutely go for it. Don't let anybody else get in your head and tell you that it's not worth it or that you're not doing a good job. Don't let the numbers get to you. Feed your soul. If it's feeding your soul, that's all that matters. make that YouTube video, make that vlog, make that podcast, film that fun little video that you've always wanted to do. Who cares? As long as you're having a good time, I think that's all that matters. Now, like I said, have a good time. Do I think there's money in being a creator? No. I think you'll make some, duh, but I don't think it'll be like a life-changing amount where you're like, I have so much in savings that my grandkids won't have to work. Do you know what I mean? I don't think there's that kind of money in there. I think you can live a comfortable life, absolutely, but you got to kind of ask yourself, am I going to fake it? Am I going to be an influencer, or am I going to be a creator? And listen to your gut, listen to that instinct. Don't listen to anybody else outside of you. Do what feels right. But I do kind of want to break the facade of that glamorous influencer life that obviously they do push on you. I think it is a rarity. I think a lot of it is fake. I think there's a lot of credit card debt involved, especially with the rising influencers who are trying to live a life outside of their means. And I don't think there's as much money as people view in it anymore. And yeah, I hate to break that facade for you, but like, from one girl to another, I just want to be real. Speaking of, I guess, someone said, do you ever see yourself in another field of work? Yeah, definitely. I think I can ultimately do anything. And I think that's so fun. One of the practices in the artist way was write down 10 different jobs that you could see yourself doing and allow yourself to like imagine yourself in that position. And it could be anything. It could be astronaut. It could be chef. It could be school teacher. It could be trash man. Does not matter. Write down like 10 different jobs and you in those jobs and how you feel in those jobs, and allow yourself to live in an imagination a little bit. And I think that was such a fun practice because I could truly see myself doing anything. And I understand how some people could have a hard time with that practice because it's like, I think a lot of people have these limiting beliefs of, well, I couldn't do that. I can't do that. I don't want to do that. But it's like, sometimes, bitch, you gotta. Sometimes you gotta. And as a girl who has been working since the age of 12, like clocked in paychecks since the age of 12. I know, I don't know how it's legal, but I have been. I have always had this mindset of like, well, I could do it. Like, fuck it. I'm flexible. I'm a quick learner. I'm happy and helpful. Like, you put me in any position, I can do it. I have done so many different jobs in this lifetime that honestly, like, I would be just as happy doing this for the rest of my life as I would being like an art teacher or a daycare teacher or a private nanny or a personal assistant or a therapist or a florist, an artist, whatever it is. I could be happy and fulfilled doing any of those jobs just as I am doing this one. And I know that because I'm a passionate person, and you put me in any situation, any job, any field, like I will ultimately give it my all. And I think that really translates into just like being a good worker and succeeding in any field you're in, you know, trying to do the best you can no matter what, even if you know what's going on or not. Simply being there and doing what you can and being receptive to feedback, being receptive to advice, and trying to stand 10 toes down, being the best that you possibly can, you will succeed ultimately, truly. Now, I understand in this job market, getting a job in general might be a little harder than that, but like as soon as you get in there, like be passionate, go after it. Like if you're in the situation, you might as well find enjoyment wherever you are. Like, sure, I'm serving, bartending, running a restaurant right now, and is it exactly what I want to be doing for the rest of my life? No, no, not at all. But am I going to show up and be miserable every single time I clock in? Hell no. I don't have time to be miserable. I don't have time to sit and sulk and complain. Like, no one likes that person at work. We're all here trying to at least have a good time and make a little bit of a bag and get home. So you might as well be that person who's like uplifting and supporting while you're there. The worst coworkers are the ones who are like about to quit, and they just hate every single second of every moment that they're there, and they make it everybody else's problem. Hell no, we don't have time for that. You show up, you smile, you have a little laugh, you be a good coworker. then clock out and go home, and then you could complain, you know? But yeah, I could see myself doing many different things. I never hold myself back when it comes to purposes or achievements. And like I said, those purposes will come to me in due time. Once you handle the purpose you're in, you will find a new one in the future. And sure, maybe I'll be 70 and I'll be a art school teacher for kindergartners. Maybe I'll be a private therapist. Maybe I'll be an astrologist. Maybe I'll be a florist. Maybe I'll be a gardener. Who fucking knows? But right now, I know what my purpose is. I know what I need to achieve. And in the future Hannah will handle it. She will come to that conclusion. She will handle that future purpose, that future career. I know I can do anything, truly, but I know most importantly what I need to do now. Help. I think TikTok has ruined any sense of creativity and work ethic I had. Any ideas? You got to go cold turkey. Cold turkey. It's like being like, help. Alcohol has ruined my life. What do I do? Duh. Stop the alcohol. Help. Cigarettes are making my lung collapse. What do I do? Stop the cigarettes. Whenever you recognize, oh my God, A, this thing is ruining me and it's causing B, this bad thing to happen, the C answer is to stop doing it. And I know that's not the answer you want to hear, but unfortunately it is the real life answer of like, that's just what you gotta do. And I do think the universe always rewards like hard things with positive outcomes. I just think that is like the ultimate formulation to good things, is like doing the hard thing, making space for newness, and then having that good thing enter that space. So if you feel like, oh wow, this thing is ruining my life, girl, it probably is, and you probably need to cut it out a bit. Now, weaning yourself off anything, whether it's like drugs, alcohol, sex, TikTok, whatever your addiction is, you have two options. You can either A, go cold turkey, but I feel like that's kind of hard to sustain, or B, you can slowly wean yourself off of it. So I think if you start with just like screen time, allowing yourself to only use TikTok in certain situations, allowing yourself to use TikTok maybe for a certain amount of time a day, like you get your 5-minute scroll in the morning and then your 5-minute scroll after work, boom, that's it. Eventually you'll stop needing it as much because you'll realize how surface level and non-engaging it is. When you're doing the hours and hours and hours of scrolling, it's going to feel very addictive because there's so much content to consume. But when you're only consuming a short amount, you'll realize, like, I did this to myself and I was like, oh wow, this is not fulfilling at all. Like, I don't actually enjoy sitting here and scrolling. Like, there's other things that I would rather be doing. And you can only realize that if you take time away. So if you need a break, girl, give yourself a break. Help. I believe in manifestation very strongly, but my boyfriend says I'm objectively wrong for believing. Oh, your boyfriend's kind of lame. Or he just has not been, his eyes have not been opened to like the beauty of energetic exchange. Manifestation's real. The sooner you realize that, the better. Like, for good or bad. I realized manifestation was real when I was manifesting bad things in my life. When I was like negative self-talk about me, about other people, about the world around me. Oh, I don't deserve these things, blah, 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 blah. Negative, negative, negative. Guess what? Guess what that brings? Guess what I manifested? Negative shit. And then I was like, oh, fuck. Like, wow, life's so negative. You get to a point where you're like, all right, let's switch it up. Let's try something new. Like, fuck it. What do we have to lose? And then I started being positive. Started doing gratuity journaling, just giving thanks to the universe, seeing the light, having big ideas and not holding myself back, you know, letting myself be a little delusional in the sense where it's like I didn't know how to think positively, so I went for the grandeur of it all. And then I realized, whoa, life got really good really fucking quickly. How the hell did that happen? Oh, mindset. I think manifestation is all about mindset, truly. I think manifestation is mindset. It's belief in self. It's belief in, you know, the universe around you, belief in good. I think it's important. And anybody who's like, oh, manifestation is not real is kind of fucking stupid, because every single person on this universe has gone out there and been like, I want that thing. I'm going to go after that thing. Sure, it doesn't exist in reality right now, but I'm going to create it and I'm going to go and get it. And then they do it. That is manifestation. Every single person here who is listening to this has done that before. Whether it was a big thing or a small thing, they have done it. So to kind of deny it is just like him being a weirdo man who hates things that girls believe. And I hate people like that because, like, how dare you not want to have fun in this life? But also, like, if he doesn't want to open himself up to good things, that's his problem. I don't think you should also make it your problem. Manifestation is 1,000% real. And it truly all comes from just putting good out and receiving good back. We have an abundance of energy in ourselves. And whatever we put out there, we then kind of open up space within ourselves for the universe to give whatever we put out there back, whether it's equal, sometimes it's tenfold. And in order to attract that goodness and fill that space back up with good things, you have to put good out there. If you put negative out there, and you put negative on people, you put negative on yourself, you put limiting beliefs out there, you open up that space and the universe fills it back in tenfold with negative things. So if you can be intentional about the energy that you use, the energy that you give out, and making space and room for good energy, I think that is literally manifestation. And I do think you can achieve anything. Belief in self is the strongest belief that there is. If you're going to believe in anybody, believe in you, believe you can do good things, believe that you are a good person, and stand by yourself no matter what. But yeah, if you want the quick tip to manifestation, girl, just be good, give good, stay positive, try and be a kind person. The bravest people are the kindest people, and truly making that space for good things to then fill you up is so, so important. But with that being said, I love you all so very much. Happy Tuesday. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week. If you want to see more from me, come join the Patreon, patreon.com/smokesashawty. We do an extra episode every week where I answer every single one of your questions. If you want to see what I'm up to, follow me on Instagram at Hannah Marlene. I have a bunch of fun new things coming out. I love hanging out with you guys every week. It's such a amazing, wonderful dose of positivity that I really need in my life, especially with going through stressful things. So hopefully I was able to give you all that refreshing, energizing episode that you needed this week. But with that being said, stay sexy, stay sane, and I'll see you all so soon. Mwah!